All right, let's talk about Floyd. I mean, not Floyd, but Canelo. I'm gonna talk about Floyd too. I think Canelo taking on Crawford. How this is a turning point for the sport of boxing. You know, they brought Shaq in. They brought a lot of people in to help promote this fight, and this can make or break for boxing. I don't really care it's on a Friday night at all. If I go to this fight, I'm gonna enjoy Vegas until Monday. I ain't gonna cap. I ain't leaving until Monday, maybe Tuesday. I'm telling you that right now. Nigga, Tom be like, man, just go to Vegas for a weekend, nigga. Do you understand? A flight is 4 hours, my nigga. So 8 hours, I'm in the air just to go for a day or two? Absolutely not. I do that in New York. New York about an hour and some change. You blink, you be in New York from Detroit. Atlanta the same way. Hour and some change. You blink, you can spend. You can fly into Atlanta on Friday, have a good time, leave Sunday morning. That's cool. I'm not coming to the West Coast, spending the whole work shift in the air. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even including getting at the airport 2 hours early. They don't even include that. You know, I like going to Vegas because I ain't got to drive. I'm drinking and eating. That's all I care about. I don't care nothing about no punani. I'm drinking and eating. I'm gigging out there. But nonetheless, yeah, this is the fight that's either gonna save boxing or I miss my Uncle Charles. He should be gone in front of his home and he knew nothing wrong. It's gonna put boxing on the crossroads, or it's gonna start to put boxing on a positive trajectory. Yeah, I mean this fight is critical. Gucci had that song heavy. So heavy. This fight is critical. I know like Randy Savage, the Macho Man, I probably take my do-rag off. I'll change to my work do-rag. I'm telling y'all, this the fight that's this critical pivot moment. The last critical pivot moment that set the tone for boxing was Pacquiao and Mayweather. They marinated that fight. It was a dud. We ain't had an elite fight. We ain't had an elite fight that's produced that was a classic. And sometimes most of our modern day classic was like Provodnikov, Bradley, Baranchnik, and Zepeda. And I actually met Jose Zepeda in Vegas. Shout out to him. Good people. Those were our modern class, like really modern class. There's some other ones in there. They all been on the lower level. Better be Evan Yard. That man, I love that fight, man. Yard was, man, I had a lot of respect for Yard. Yard was in that hole. They was in that bitch banging. You know what I'm saying? So we had a lot of modern classics, bro. All of them has been mid-tier. You know what I'm saying? Like what made Hagler, Hearns, and Duran and Leonard so legendary, they all had elite fights. They were big fights, and they actually produced elite results with the fans. You know what I'm saying? They produced elite results. They became timeless, whether it was win, lose, quit, draw, it didn't matter. It was elite. It was an elite. So we need Canelo and Crawford to be elite. We need it to be a classic. We need it to be a fucking Rocky movie. That's what we need it to be. And if it's anything short of a classic, or if it's short of a good fight, let me be nice. If it's short of a good fight, man, hook right, good night. Pack boxing up. Because they trying to redefine what the sport is. Oh, no runners, no this. And I talked about that on the live. I left that live up Thursday. Oh, what's today? Thursday? Wednesday. That's just what it is, bro. They destroying the sport. Boxing is about diversity. It's one of the most diverse sports out there. It's always been diverse. I ain't gonna say always, but for a long time, the Queensberry rules, you know, if you watch it, man, boxing was a British thing. And it started to spread. You always had, you know, it's been the Olympic of sports. You have the Asians, whether it's the Filipinos, the Japanese, the Koreans, the Chinese, Thai. You had the British, you had Eastern Europeans, Ukraine, you know, all that stuff. Russians, you know, you got the Canadians, Puerto Ricans, you got the Mexicans, you got other people in Central America, Honduras. Like, it's a great sport, bro. got the Africans, got the Black Americans, you got the white Americans. At some point, it's a diverse sport, and if they don't deliver, it's a nail in the coffin. But I think it needs a nail in the coffin. I think boxing needs to go a total rebuild. It needs a total rebuild, bro. I think it needs a total rebuild. But if it can be reconstructed, refurbished, it's with this fight. And if this fight don't deliver, if Crawford don't deliver, if Canelo don't deliver, and really, if Crawford deliver in an impressive fashion and win, or if Crawford just win, upsets always resonate. Everybody want to see the underdog. Upsets always resonate. Don't forget that. They always fucking resonate. And that's what they supplemented the elite level fight for. The elite level fight is the upset. The Rolly beating Ryan. The upset is the new big fight, bro. Usyk overcoming Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. The upset is what they supplemented for, classic fights. And then a lot of times on HBO, man, like, you couldn't get on that platform if you wasn't gonna make shit shake. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. And, it was a lot of great fights on HBO, regular boxing after dark, championship after, boxing. It was a lot of great moments. It was some bad moments, like niggas falling out the ring like Kermit Citron. You had upsets, I believe, like Carlos Quintana, upsetting Paul Williams. I think he got his lick back. You had Paul Williams and Antonio Margarito. Not much heavyweight in that time. You did have Jonathan Banks upset Seth Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was outside there. Bernard and Stinky Winky, which I still think Winky Wright won. Jermaine Taylor and Bernard, that was on pay-per-view. Yeah, you had good shit. And now today they fighting to lose, bro. I mean, they fight not to lose. Even if you fight and you fight with your heart in your shoulders, and you fight and you strap your nuts on and you come up short. I mean, Duran quit. Most people think he one of the 5 best fighters of all time. Think about how good you had to be. To quit in a fight and still be considered one of the 5 best fighters of all time. Anywhere near that list. You consider one of the 5 best fighters of all time. Ain't that crazy, bro? That is crazy for you to even be in that conversation. So, yeah, this going to be a tipping point for boxing. This going to be a tipping point. Either they going, and most people just care about getting their money and going home. And, most people say, well, Crawford not on that. Crawford, and we'll see. This going to validate it. Crawford, all the hard work Crawford did. If people think Crawford didn't show up, or he ran, or they think Crawford didn't fight to win, he fight to get the bag, he fought defensive, or he went out there and got clobbered, like most people, common folk think he may, it's going to destroy his legacy. I say that right now. I remember this guy who was talking to his son. He worked the counter at the gym. We was talking to him, and he was like, this shit was the funniest shit. I told this story. It was like about a couple months ago. He was telling his son, he said, you can lay bricks your whole life and be known as a bricklayer. I forget how he said it, but he said, if you suck one popsicle stick, you get what I'm saying, right? He said, you're going to be known as a popsicle sucking mother effer for the rest of your life. He said, do with that what you may. And you're right. And basically, he went to the extreme, but it's true. One moment could define a career, especially if it's your last fight. One moment could define a career. One moment could define your life. You could be known as an activist, a philanthropist throughout the neighborhood, and somebody can accuse you of something, and it may not be true, and it could damage your reputation as a man. It could be true, and everything you did good is outweighed by one bad deed, one rash decision, right? You do all this good stuff in the hood, somebody smack you, you get the gun, and you send them to the upper room. Now you going to jail for manslaughter, 10, 15, maybe your life. It didn't matter them 35 good deeds you did, them 35 homes you bought for families you put in there. All that is matter. So you do with that you may. One moment can destroy a great reputation in a lifetime. Even though if a lot of people really, they have you swear on the Bible when you go in the courtroom and all that stuff, all sins are equal, That's what they say in the Bible. And they also say, life is I'm paraphrasing, life is a wager of sins. That's what life is. It's a wager of sins. The more sins you do, the quicker you go to that upper room. So, like I said before, it's gonna be critical. This is gonna be the turning point for the sport of boxing. If it's a great fight, whoever win, lose, or if it's a great fight, and Crawford known as being in exciting fights. Only fight that I can think of that wasn't exciting was that fight he fought versus that at 35. He fought versus damn, I forget the dude's name. He had the belt. I forget he fought a guy. I forget his name. It was, I think Bernie was saying that was Red's favorite fight to watch, but it wasn't exciting. It wasn't bad, but we'll see. So it's the tipping point for the sport of boxing, to be honest. Either they cash in and they do a great job in this fight, and boxer is rising from the ashes, or rise from the edges of death, or if this fight don't hit, it's a wrap. I'm telling you, it's a wrap. So thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notification. Increase your chance to get notification. We go live and drop video. Hit the link in the description. You can find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Amazon, Kick, Twitch. Join the Patreon. I appreciate the love and support. Check out the Free Game 89 channel, my Detroit channel. But yeah, I think this fight is really going to decide in what direction the boxing going to go. But I think, at some point, if it go to ground zero, it need to be rebuilt. So let's see what happens. Appreciate y'all. Peace.